Welcome everybody to the March 20th, 2025 board meeting for the St. Tammany Parish School Board. Ms. Coakley, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Green.
Here.
Ms. Hanson. Here. Ms. Rutherford. Here. Ms. Fauntleroy. Here. Mr. Harrell. Here. Ms. Martin. Here. Ms. Moore. Dr. Peterson.
Here.
Ms. Baker.
Here.
Ms. McCollum. Here. Ms. Lamey. Here. Ms. Hurstis. Mr. Breaux. Here. Mr. Kuzan. Here. Ms. Rufino-Gallagher.
Thank you, Dr. Peters. Dr. Peterson will lead us in the invocation and pledge.
Dear God, Heavenly Father of all creation, we give you thanks and praise for the opportunity we have to be here tonight in the interest of our students, our community, and each other. We pray that you will give us your guidance and your light and help us to arrive at those choices and decisions that please you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would any board members like to recognize visitors? Ms. Fauntleroy?
I can't see well enough right now because I'm having my contacts in to recognize visitors, but I wanted to thank Layla and Mackenzie, two fifth graders at Folsom Elementary, for a wonderful tour of the school today. They're on the Lighthouse team, and they led me and a group of just people from around Folsom, all around the school, and they did a wonderful job, and they knew the history of the school and just they were leading a family around in a couple hours later, so that was their job. They introduced the school to new people. So shout out Layla and Mackenzie. Great job.
Ms. Lamey?
So I don't want to go by name, so I don't leave anybody out, but like one of my favorite families, the Singleton family, is here, so we'll talk more about them in a little bit. And then our Mayfield family, which I see so many, even a family member that I could just call out to stand up and shout. But anyway, all of our Mayfield teachers and community, could y'all just like wave your hands? Thank you for being here. Y'all are awesome. Yay.
Okay, Mr. Jabbia?
Thank you, Mr. Green. Appreciate it. Been a busy week, to say the least, but it's rolling right along. I just want to remind everybody we have our elementary fitness meet this Saturday at Lakeshore High School. Registration starts at 8 p.m., so if any board members would like to come join me, I will not be performing any physical fitness, but I will be rooting some people on. The itinerant coaches and the PE department do a tremendous job. They all give up their time on a Saturday to help our kids, and this is so kids can qualify for the state competition, and we always send a powerhouse every year of kids. So I'm excited to see the makeup of our team this year, and so I'm really excited to see those kids get after it and do their thing. Today was busy. I started at Woodlake at 7:30, drove to Baton Rouge. We had Superintendent Brumley's advisory committee, a lot of important topics along with third grade retention, some pieces for certification. We did a complete, I'll have to get with Kim, they did a complete overhaul with some of the terminology and verbiage for our SWE manuals that we use. So that'll be going to the Special Education Advisory Committee for the state, and then on to Bessie. So we got a lot of great information today and got to hear from those folks up there and kind of talk about some things. Had a superintendent Region 2 meeting on Tuesday. Great turnout by those folks. We talk about, I say this all the time, but we talk about a lot of the things that are pertinent to all of us statewide. And so as different as many of our communities are, we have very similar challenges and very similar issues that we have to work through. So it's always great to visit with them. This past Friday, I did get on a call with my region. I set up with Representative Wilder from Livingston and Representative Carver. We talked accountability. We talked Amendment 2. We talked about a whole lot of different things and how that's going to impact our state. So I appreciate those two men giving up their time and getting on a Zoom call with all of us. So I appreciate that. So it's been busy. We got a lot going on, a lot of great people. It's been great to go visit from 37 presentations in of 70. So it's been great to visit with all of our campuses and our teachers and have a chance to meet with employees and kind of fill them in on a whole lot of things that are upcoming that are challenges for us that we're going to work through. So appreciate that. But we have a couple of videos we'd like to play for you tonight. The first one, and a lot of you saw the post that I made in our communication did, February 24th through the 28th was Public School Appreciation Week. So Channel 13 has put together a video for us. Let's check that out.
To me, public school is education, tradition, athletics, and friendship.
It's just like one big community, one big family.
There's so many opportunities that public schools offers.
Like clubs, for example, Lighthouse, Student Council, robotics, all those amazing clubs that really help you get involved in the school.
I find this environment very easy to learn in because everybody's really nice, and if you need help, they will help you.
I love public schools because I get to meet new people, make new friends, and learn about different stuff.
I think the education here has been very rigorous. It's pushed me to be the best that I can.
I'm in a perfect spot to succeed and move on to high school and even use some of the lessons I've learned here in public schools for the rest of my life.
All the teachers I've had, I've kind of taken a piece of them with me, and it's helped me, and I feel like that has been really invaluable to me. Like, it has become part of me and my educational journey.
The teachers that I have had through the years at St. Tammany Parish Public Schools has been an amazing experience to help me prepare for high school and beyond that in college and my future.
High school is like one of the most important parts of your life. It sets the stepping stones for everything, and I think this place has given me such a great foundation.
I wouldn't be where I am today without public schools and St. Tammany Parish.
Again, thank you to Channel 13 and everyone that participated in that video. What we have here in St. Tammany is special. Just look around the state, look around the region. What we do in St. Tammany is very special, and I appreciate everyone that makes that possible. We are surrounded by, I say this to you guys all the time, we are surrounded by so much talent, and what they do for our kids every day is just absolutely amazing. So thank you to everyone. The last video I'd like to show, we recently, the district was chosen to host the Bessie Board and La B in a traveling road show, we're calling it, where they come and they kind of lay out some expectations, and then the school system is able to show what we do for work-based industry and what we do for kids, what internships look like, and how our community supports our internships. So let's check out a visit by our Bessie Board.
Bessie contacted us to be a model of success to our site. So what we did today is highlight the wonderful work of our school to work coordinators, our interns, and our internship members. And it was truly a team effort.
This program was all about showing the state and our Board of Educators, Bessie, exactly what we do at St. Tammany, what we're about, what we're committed to, and doing right by kids every day.
And that would not be possible without the hardworking teachers.
What we've done at Bessie, we've recognized, we work with the governor's office and workforce development folks to appreciate all the opportunities that are out there in our state and all these vacancies for high-paying jobs. And so now that we've recognized those, we're touring the state here today in our third Bessie stop to help folks to appreciate the value in these high school student internships.
Going into college without this, I would have just been all confused. It would have been brand new. So this internship has really prepared me and given me an experience that not everyone going into college is going to have.
So one of the key pieces of the experience today was the campus tour. So we highlighted the career technical education courses, and so our membership was able to go in there and to see all the certifications that the students are earning, the knowledge and skill that they're building through this coursework, and they were able to interact with the students and teachers to understand what it takes to build the workforce of tomorrow.
When I visit schools, the kids tell me, Mr. Morris, how do you make education relevant? What are we doing here? That's what we heard today. We heard students tell us that this makes education relevant. So that's my major takeaway. That's what the kids are telling us.
St. Tammany, we're very lucky. We have a tremendous backing of community, but that's not the case everywhere around the state. We are truly blessed, and I hope they understand that, you know, what we're doing in St. Tammany is special.
I truly appreciate all the board members that came out. You guys made it a priority to be there, and I really appreciate the support. A huge shout out to Melissa Stratenberger and our entire team of CTE teachers, our entire team of school to work coordinators, our counselors, all the supervisors, everyone that made that possible. But I see a gentleman sitting in the back of the room that we kicked off this event with the Fontainebleau High School Jazz Ensemble playing for everyone to hear, to showcase not only our building, but also to showcase our program, what our kids do. And Lee Hicks does an unbelievable job at Fontainebleau High School. So Lee, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. We are truly blessed. We are truly blessed to have amazing leaders of our bands in our music department like Lee. So board members, that kind of wraps up my update.
Thank you, Mr. Jebby. I know we always appreciate hearing the Fontainebleau Jazz Band and any events we get the opportunity to attend. So any questions for the superintendent on his update? See none, we'll move to item 2, special recognition, Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals Student Award Recognitions.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Dotolo. I am with St. Tammany Parish Fair, and I'm actually the essay and poster contest chairman. So every year, y'all know the fair is held in October. During that point in time, we collect essays and posters from our students. In February, we attend a state convention called the Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals. And this is where all the fairs and festivals from across the state go. We network, we get information from one another, but we also compete for various prizes and awards. The Louisiana Association of Fairs and Festivals selects the essay theme that we use for our essay contest. We are allowed to submit only 3 essays, and then we then compete against everyone else. So St. Tammany Parish Fair is competing against, say, Washington Parish Fair and Brobridge Crawfish Festival, Rain Frog Festival. We're talking about from all across the state. So this past year, this past February, we submitted our top 3 essays with, fingers crossed and hope and a prayer. When we went to convention, we were told that they competed and there were 50 entries, 50 entries. We were very, very surprised and happy to hear that not only did we get second place in the state, we also got first place. So. And of course, I'm clapping like I'm taking credit for that, but it was our students that did it. Of course, I took credit at the convention. No worries. I took up for y'all. So the essay theme for this past year was what makes a winning fair or festival volunteer. So these students wrote an essay about what makes a winning St. Tammany Parish fair volunteer, and that's what they were judged on. So I'm very, very happy to bring prize money and more checks to Miss Morgan Johnson of Mandeville Junior High for second place. And then first place in the entire state, Miss Bianca Childress of Folsom Junior High. And if I could also have the staff of Folsom Junior High and Mandeville Junior High stand if you're present. We thank you so much for your support of these children. It means the world to us, and the support you give them shows throughout the community and the state. Thank you for having me.
If the parents of Bianca and Morgan could stand and we could recognize them, that would be great. It's fantastic. Mr. Jabby will come to the podium for item B, which is our Student of the Year Awards.
Thank you, board members. It is my honor tonight to recognize our 3 district Students of the Year representing 5th grade, 8th grade, and 12th grade for St. Tammany Parish. These students it's a really rigorous process. It's very competitive, not only at their schools, amongst the highest performing students at their schools, but also across this district. All the schools that have 5th grade, 8th grade, and 12th grade, the students just have so much talent. They're so involved and they're so dedicated. Like I said, it is extremely competitive. But these students were chosen because of their leadership, their academic achievement, their character, and their service to their school and their communities. Every one of the district winners tonight that you're going to meet were all regional finalists, which means they were semifinalists for the state. And we are lucky to have one tonight that is a finalist for 5th grade this year for St. Tammany Parish. All these students, and I told them just a few minutes ago when we took some pictures, the communications department heard feedback. We get feedback every year on how our students did and how they felt like they performed. And our feedback to communications was this was extremely competitive, but that our students as a group were so impressive on what they brought to the table. And I told them before, I'm just so proud of the way they represented themselves, their families, and this school system. I'm extremely, extremely proud. But tonight we're going to kick it off with our 5th grade category. Miss Lauren Singleton from Mayfield Elementary School is our district 5th grade Student of the Year and a state finalist. Lauren, like I said before, Lauren does a tremendous job. She is so super talented, not only academically, she is involved in so many things throughout her entire, not just at the school, but privately also, and just extremely talented. Let's check out a little video of Lauren.
Lauren is one of the sweetest and kindest students you could ever meet. Every time I think about an adjective to describe Lauren, the word kindness comes to mind.
Lauren, as a student, has become such an integral part of my classroom. She not only steps up in participation, she steps up in helping with other students. She has been amazing in things like crisis management. When students are having trouble on tests or assignments, she immediately jumps in and comforts or assists whenever needed without any prompting.
Lauren is just one amazing child. She is a true born leader. I see that in the classroom as her math teacher and as a cheer coach. She thrives to help others and she wants to see the best in others. And I think that's one of the most amazing qualities of Lauren is that she wants to challenge herself to become better, but also do that to others.
You know, it's such an honor to be here right now. I'm just so grateful. And I think my family members and my friends, they're so proud of me, and to have that support, it's just amazing, and to see where my journey takes me next. I just love the school, and the teachers and staff, they're so encouraging and so inspirational to me.
She has been an absolute blessing to my classroom. I couldn't ask for a better student.
Come on up. Lauren, if you could join me. I know everybody's clapping, so come on up. Congratulations. So proud of you. This is for you. I'm going to leave it for you. Come on, Steph. You want, I've got a little box, or you? Sure. Okay.
Good evening, Superintendent Javier and board members. My name is Lauren K. Singleton, and I am a 5th grader at Mayfield Elementary School. Hashtag the best elementary school in America. It is truly an honor to be recognized as Student of the Year, and I am humbled to stand before you all. This award isn't just for me. It is a reflection of the dedication and support of countless individuals who have empowered my educational journey from the tender age of 5. I want to express my sincere gratitude to the faculty and staff who instilled in me a love for learning. At this time, can all of the Mayfield faculty and staff please stand? Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You may be seated. To my parents, thank you for the support. I love you. To my brother Jay, thanks for coming tonight. I'm pretty sure you would rather be playing baseball or at the gym, but you had no choice. And to my family in Alabama, Roll Tide, thank you for believing. Thank you for believing in me. Before I close, I must let Mr. Jabia know that 4 years ago, you visited Mayfield, and I remember you visiting my 1st grade class, Miss Martinez's, which is sitting right there. And I raising my hand to let you know the girls' bathroom needed soap. Well, I'm happy to report that the girls' soap problem has been fixed. However, we would prefer lavender soap and a fresh oyster bar in the cafeteria. Thank you again for this incredible honor. I am truly grateful for this opportunity and look forward to attending the Student of the Year state finalists in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and representing St. Tammany Parish. I have one huge favor that I would like everyone to help me with. In the true Mayfield way, go Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3, go Bears! Thank you. Thank you.
So proud of you. This is for you. Thank you for everything. You did a great job. So really quickly, I've known Lauren since she was born, and so I show up. We're in the middle of COVID. We're distancing. People are spread out everywhere, and I walk in. I'm just kind of popping in, saying hello, not trying to ruffle anybody's feathers. And Lauren goes, "There's no soap in the bathroom." I'm like, "Don't call your parents." I've been on a job like 2 months. I'm like, "Come on." So, but I'm just blown away. Y'all get to see that. That's the kind of fire and determination that our students exude. At this time, I'd like to, even though he's an Alabama fan, I would like Lauren's mom and dad to please stand and be recognized, and any other family members that are here. And Jeremy. So. I just appreciate them coming in, and Jeremy, their son Jeremy. But even though he wore his Alabama colors, even though it makes me a little aggravated, but no, he knows I love him. But congratulations, Lauren. I'm super, super proud of you. In our middle school and junior high category, 8th grade student of the year is Mr. Callan Suter. He is from Mandeville Junior High School. He is a student of the year and also a regional winner. Callan is an amazing kid. He is so talented in the classroom, outside of the classroom. He exudes so much. I mean, I know I called him out when I went and introduced him. I had him stop their PE class and come and kind of present him in front of his PE class, which I know was a little overwhelming for him, and I was glad to have his mom and dad there with us. But Callan, not only is he an amazing kid, he has an amazing story. So let's check out our video, Callan.
Callan is one of those students that, as a teacher, you hope to get every year. He's inquisitive and he's engaged, and he actually wants to know things outside of whatever it is that we're talking about. He wants to know the bigger details.
I've always just loved learning. I love reading and writing. I like math and history, so I enjoy it. I like having those good grades and making good grades. I enjoy it.
He just kind of knows, if I want to be the best at this thing, it's time to do this thing. If I want to be the best at this thing, it's time to do this thing. I think he's just really good at that, even at his age, of like focusing on the goal at hand rather than just sort of allowing it to happen.
If I have free time in school, instead of playing games, I can always do work for other classes, which enables me to, again, like have more time for sports and for leisure and for more schoolwork, and they all go hand in hand. I've had great teachers, great friends, administrators, all of my schools I've loved, and they've gotten me to where I am today, so I'm super grateful to everything, this parish, the school district, and Maine, Virginia.
I'm extremely proud, but I'm not surprised. He's that kid you hope, if you had 100 of that kid, your job would be the easiest in the world, right? But like I said, Callan's, he's something else.
Callan, can you come join me up here, please? Congratulations. Thank you. Super proud.
Well,
I'll put him on the spot.
I didn't have anything prepared, but it'll be coming out of the heart, so I think that's better. First off, just a big thank you to Mr. Javia and the whole school board and school district as a whole. This has been an amazing opportunity for me, and I'm grateful to represent my school and my district. Also want to give a big thanks to my administrators, my amazing principal, Miss Brown, also Miss Lauren Vogel. She helped me through this process of the Student of the Year, and also Miss Turner. And also my parents, my dad. He was my emotional support dad, so he's there. And then my mom, who helped me put together my application. She's been, ever since 5th grade, when I was nominated at Lake Harbor Middle School, she's been keeping my records and keeping everything, making sure that, because she knew, she could tell that I was going to win it again, or get nominated again, and she helped me put it together. So just a big thanks to them. Also, my sister, Riley, my favorite, my dogs, Maggie, Wrigley, and Cooper. And I'm really grateful for everyone. This has been an amazing opportunity. Thank you, guys.
I'm telling you, it just comes out. Y'all see what we see. You see what our teachers see every day. At this time, I know Callan brought it up, but if his parents and Ms. Gina Brown, the principal, and any other family members, friends are here, please stand to be recognized, please. We are truly blessed. Our next honoree is our 12th grade level Student of the Year, and that's Miss Hannah Bradley from Mandeville High School. And again, she also was a regional winner. Hannah is, I got to pop into her AP class to recognize her, to give her the news, and her class was just blown away. They were blown away. She was blown away. I was lucky enough at these events we were able to get their parents lined up and surprise them. But Hannah, again, just an amazing student, just so talented artistically, so talented as a student, and just an amazing person. So let's check out a video of Hannah.
Hannah Bradley is as close to of a perfect student I think that any teacher would be honored to have in their class. It makes me very proud to know that Hannah's going to be representing Mandeville High School and also her individual teachers as Student of the Year.
It's just an opportunity I never thought I would have. I'm honored that such an amazing school board would honor me out of all people.
We're just so proud of her because of where she is, the hard work it took to get there, and where she's come from, and how wonderful her family is. We're just so proud for her, what this means for her in the future.
So art's always been a part of my life. I'm really into landscape art in particular because it's a way for me to celebrate the culture that I'm a part of. I like depicting scenes that celebrate the beauty of this area, even with the horrible tragedies that we face sometimes. My art's in DC right now because there's this thing that I applied to called the Congressional Art Competition. It was crazy to see my art being seen by all these very important people in Congress, even the president, things like that. And I'm happy that it brought some people some joy.
Anybody, it's everybody in Washington, me included, walks by and sees it's artwork from a kid from Mandeville High School. It's incredible.
I love Mandeville High School. I was so apprehensive at first going into the school because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how supportive the community here was. People who just encouraged me, the students here, there's a lot of special people here.
Hannah, if you would please join me up here, that would be awesome.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. I didn't prepare anything either, so we're in it together, you know. I just want to thank, of course, the school board, and also I just am so incredibly honored to be with two amazing students who just impress me every single day. I never thought that I would get to this point. I started off in the special education program in elementary school and never thought that this was possible for me. But without you guys, without the support of the teachers and the paras and the people, my principal, everyone who's been involved in my life and giving me those resources, I could not be here today. I really couldn't. And my heart goes out to you guys. I know how hard you work. And I'm also grateful, of course, to my parents, my family. I guess I'll mention my cats because he mentioned my dogs. You know, I gotta mention him. Saki boy, who's blind and deaf, and meows every night, but we love him. Just so much thank you. I really appreciate it.
I know she mentioned them, but if Hannah's family would please stand and be recognized. Mr. Munson, unfortunately, go ahead. Go ahead. Mr. Munson is where I wish I was, in the happiest place on earth, in Disney World with the seniors. But Miss Paige Butler is here to represent the administration. So Paige, thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Again, we are truly blessed, as you have seen today. We have amazing people who love animals, and they love all their friends and family. But these students represent 36,400 students around the district, and they represent them so well. They are a true reflection of the amazing students we have in this district. Also, I want to thank our communications team and the administration, schools, for all the spotlights they've done to spotlight every single student that was named a Student of the Year on that campus. And we will continue to celebrate those people the entire year. And I just want to congratulate everyone who was named a Student of the Year on the campus. That is the biggest honor you can get to happen on that campus where you are a student with all of your classmates, to know that you were chosen, and to move on again to the district level, to the regional level, and now to the state level is absolutely amazing. I also want to wish Lauren the best of luck. May the 16th is the state competition. So I want to wish Lauren and her family the very best of luck. And I know she will represent us very well. So board members, that concludes my presentation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jabbie. I think in the 6 years I've served on this board, this night, this recognition is always my favorite because it really does highlight three students who really exude the energy, the academic, the athletics. I really just can't wait to follow all of your stories because I know that what we're doing to prepare you for the future and what you've already accomplished. The world's going to have amazing things for you, and I know that you'll just eat up every opportunity. And as I just can't wait to follow your career and success through life. And I'm thankful that we get to recognize all of you today. And thank you for being here. Thank you for the families, the teachers, the administrators that are here in support of these students. And with that, we will take a quick break because some of the families might not want to stick around for the business part of this agenda, and we'll give you a chance to exit, go celebrate with your families. And thank you again for being here. It's a great honor to recognize you tonight.
Come back with that resolution from Tammy.
Can I get the board members back in here so we'll get back to the business? Oh, I better wait for.
Yeah. This language is not.
I need her. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting back to order and also apologize. I kind of got ahead of myself on the agenda. Normally, we wouldn't call a recess until we had finished our special recognitions, but we do. We'll move to item C, which is our National Board Certified Educators Resolution, and Ms. Lamy will read that resolution.
I am honored to read this resolution. Whereas the St. Tammany Parish School Board appreciates the dedication and commitment of all employees who have a positive impact on student learning in St. Tammany Parish Public School System. And whereas the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards was founded in 1987 with the mission of maintaining high and rigorous standards for what accomplished educators should know and be able to do in order to generate continuous improvement in the fields of education, and whereas National Board certification is a relevant and impactful process in which educators voluntarily engage in continuous learning, collaboration, and reflect on teaching practices in order to achieve National Board certification. And whereas the St. Tammany Parish School Board is extremely proud of our school system employees, including teachers and school counselors who have gone through the process of earning National Board certification through NBPTS, demonstrating their desire to continue their own education in order to serve our students. And whereas we honor all of our National Board certified educators for their strong commitment to education and commend them for attaining this certification. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of the St. Tammany Parish School Board acknowledge and appreciate the dedication of all National Board certified employees within our school system. Be it further resolved that the resolution be spread upon the official minutes of this board, with a copy being sent to all schools and offices within the school system to post as a sign of gratitude and respect to all of the National Board and Professional Teaching Standards certified educators. And I so move.
Thank you, Ms.
And
Lamy. Unanimous second?
Yes, sir. Right? And can I ask if we have any National Board certified teachers to please stand? Thank you both so much.
Public comments? Ms. Berrios?
Lee Barrows, retired teacher. I was curious to find out how many National Board active still teaching the parish teachers we have. So I asked Mr. Alfonso, and we actually have 31 still teaching in the parish. So I wanted to recognize them real quickly, some of whom have moved on to be administrators. Sharon Bennett, Joanna Brockhoff, Brittany Byers, Hope Kame, Cherie Caminita, Elizabeth Cleveland, Kimberly Fauntleroy, Casey Gleason, Pamela Green, Henry Heyer, Stacy Henderson, Tiffany Hewson, Tiffany Jordan, Melissa Langlois, Natalia Lovell, Desiree McGuire, Monique McNabb, Holly Moore, Maria O'Keefe, Lisa Pay, Tracy Pendry, Patricia Piccone, Heather Revere, Nicole Roberts, Chantel Smith, Gina Troyer, Kimberly Vanderklees, Erin Vicari, Susan Wright, Nancy Yeager, and Hallianne Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Berrios. I hope that doesn't become a retirement resolution list anytime soon. Any other comments from the public? Ms. Underwood?
I just want to say that process to become that is very rigorous, and I don't think I would ever do it. So kudos to those 31, you said? 31 that are still in our system that have it. And hopefully one day we can, I know the state send some funding, maybe they don't anymore, I can't remember anymore for that specific one. But give them more money for all the work they have to do to get that and keep it. So thanks.
Any other comments from the public? Seeing none, any from the board? No, and that motion is carried unanimously. So we'll move on to our next item, which is the consent agenda. Do we need to remove any items from the agenda, Mr. Bro?
Yes, I'd like to remove both of the curriculum items from the agenda so that we can discuss. We asked for more information. And,
So Mr. Bro has asked for items C and D to be removed. The recommends purchase of high school social studies instructional materials and the purchase of CTE instructional materials. Is that correct, sir? Okay. Any others? Seeing none, I'll remove those two and read the remainder, and we'll vote on those, and then we'll have the discussion on the two removed. So the consent agenda, as proposed by as proposed, is item A, consent agenda items in the discussion. B, approval of minutes for the regular meeting held February 13th, 2025. Item E, recommends acceptance of the low base bid and alternate number 1 submitted by A&A Mechanical, Inc. in the amount of $650,000 for the replacement of cafeteria and gymnasium HVAC units at Pontchartrain, Chafuncta Middle Schools, STPSB project number P0411. Item F, recommends acceptance of the apparent low base bid submitted by Donahue Construction LLC in the amount of $340,000 for the paving repairs, asphalt mill, and overlay at Bonnie Cole Elementary School, STPSB project number P0307. Recommendation, substantial completion of Slidell High School 1033 9th Street building renovations, Phase 1, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number P0449. Item H, recommendation, substantial completion of Mandeville High School visitor side restroom and concession building, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number P0434. May I have a motion? Ms. Rutherford, a second. Ms. Baker, any comments from the public? See none. Any from the board? Let's please vote on the consent agenda.
Sorry, I had to add Ms. Isabel.
And the consent agenda passes unanimously. Item C from the consent agenda is recommends purchase of high school social studies instruction materials as presented. Do I have a motion to open the floor for discussion? Ms. Fauntleroy, do I have a second? Ms. Hanson? So the floor is open. Do I have public comments? See none? Oh, I'm sorry.
So it was a motion to discuss, not a motion to accept.
And it was recommend purchase. That was the motion.
All right. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jason Borderline. I'm an 11-year veteran teacher, and I've been teaching AP Psychology at Mandeville High School for the last 3 years. Basically, I'm coming here tonight to kind of dispel some of the rumors that are being spread about the AP Psychology curriculum and textbook. I can say with certainty that the section in the textbook that covers transgender and gender identity encompasses only 5 paragraphs on 2 separate pages, and we spend about a total of 2 minutes on this the entire year. And I have here the actual book that is up for vote tonight. This was sent to me last year. As you can see, I've marked here. We have a few, these 3 paragraphs down here, and then 1 separate paragraph right up here. So that is where that's where it's mentioned in the textbook. In class, we define the terms, transgender and gender identity. Then we move on. In the time that I'm given tonight, I could actually read every word in the book that covers transgender and gender identity. That is how little we talk about it. Now, to say that, teachers of this subject are indoctrinating kids or teaching kids information that's outside of the curriculum is unfounded, and it's very dangerous. Simply because my responsibility is to teach my students what is in the curriculum so that they have the best chance to succeed on the AP exam in May. These textbooks are important, because they will support these students in their classes and will allow them to succeed. We need these textbooks because this will allow them to do the best that they possibly can on this exam that they take at the end of the year. Also, AP Psychology is the second most important course offered, second most popular course, offered at Mandeville High. And the reasons why are because it is a fun way and the kids learn valuable information that is real world applicable every single day. I have evidence with me that shows that 100% of my students would agree with that statement. Some of them are here with me tonight. There are also some sitting that came out to support this textbook. Over the last 3 years, my students have a 79% pass rate on the AP exam, which is nothing to sneeze at. It's a very good pass rate. To take away a textbook that supports these students and offers them the chance to learn and grow and receive college credit that some of these kids really need, just because there's 5 paragraphs in an 825-page textbook that some people disagree with, that this is detrimental to the overall purpose that I serve and that we serve as educators. I strongly encourage the board to approve the new textbook so that these kids can have the best opportunities when taking this course and to overcome or to become the best version of themselves that they can and get that college credit that many of these kids really need and work hard for. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If the students, when you come up, if you wouldn't mind just saying your name and where you go to school, that would be great. First up.
Yes, sir. Hello, my name is Joseph Christian Scheck-Snyder. I am from, sorry, just trying to get my crutches to not fall over. I am from Mandeville High School, and my excellent psychology teacher for base psych and AP psych is Mr. Thank you, Mr. Bordelon. He's awesome, and he covered the textbook situation wonderfully and marvelously, but I want to cover one specific topic that we covered in the class that changed my life completely. It allowed me to drive. Whenever I was born, I physically couldn't see out of my right eye, and the school's test failed to catch that. The first thing that caught that was the DMV. This was due to the fact that my left eye was significantly stronger than my right eye, so my brain decided to wire itself saying, I don't need my right eye, so let's just turn it off when both eyes are open. Needless to say, that bit me in the butt at the DMV whenever they said, read this line, and I didn't see a line. So, then we came to this topic, neuroplasticity in psychology. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself and adapt to challenges whenever it first sees them. So I began training my own eye with this topic that we learned in AP Psychology until eventually I was able to rewire my own brain to gain control of the muscles surrounding my right eye to where now I can jitter it and I can pretty much wake up my right eye to where I could have depth perception, I could drive, I could be on the road. And that has 100% changed my life. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Nicholas Ingram. I'm a student at Mandeville High School, and I'm a junior currently enrolled in advanced placement psychology. My teacher is Mr. Jason Bordelon, who has just spoken, and he's the most enthusiastic teacher I've ever had. He teaches quality lessons day in and day out, and he has really helped my learning this year. I'm here to say that preventing the teaching of the new nationally accepted textbook for the AP Psychology course and banning the course in general in St. Tammany Parish would be detrimental to student education and morale on campuses across the parish. I'd also like to state that textbooks are crucial to maintaining order throughout the year and work to reinforce learning, and when the textbook is not up to date with the end of year exam, AP scores will see significant decreases. AP Psychology has helped me learn a wide variety of concepts that apply to daily life that are not taught in my core classes. The topics covered in this course encapsulate a broad understanding of simple psychological concepts, with an incredibly minor one of those concepts being the topic of transgenderism that is covered in Unit 3 under the topic of transgender. Of gender. Only a few small paragraphs are dedicated to this concept in a textbook that is 525 pages. And the use of what many claim to be a divisive term makes no mention. Makes no mention of transgenderism being a good thing nor a bad thing. What the textbook does is simply acknowledge that the concept exists in our world today and that it shows correlation to certain neurological patterns, and it explains what the broad definition of the term is. In Mr. Bourlan's actual presentation of the unit, however, his slideshow simply had a bullet point saying transgender, and he gave a very brief explanation of the term. They claim that AP Psychology is indoctrinating our students with radical leftist ideology and encouraging them to become transgender is clearly a claim from somebody living outside the realm of reality. This course is taken by high school juniors and seniors, most of which are ranging from the age of 16 to 18 and already have a clear understanding of what the word transgender means. This course does not encourage young, impressionable children to be transgender. All it does is explain to mature young adults that it is a topic in our world. This attack on a high quality and popular advanced course such as AP Psychology is entirely unjustified, and I encourage members of this board not to vote in favor of such a hateful act. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Reese Parker. I'm a senior at Mandeville High School. AP Psychology has really been a course that I look forward to my entire high school career. You know, you hear your senior friends talking about it, and it's something that sounds really interesting. And Mr. Bordelon makes it great. He is the most fun, engaging, goofy teacher I have ever had, and he really is just like a highlight of my day. Louisiana is such a beautiful home of creativity, originality, and self-expression. So it really does make little sense to me how self-expression and originality is something that is being attempted to suppress by removing the textbook and removing this section of the textbook because of fear of a word or a concept. The concept of transgenderism in our textbook makes up about 1/100th of our curriculum, and it, like the claim that teachers are trying to push a transgender agenda is so false. Like, I mean, if you step foot into our classroom for 5 seconds, you can see how, like, just not accurate that is. We cover topics from dream interpretation, psychological stages, development, brain structure, and cognitive human behavior. Trying to take away a class that is the highlight of so many people's day is, without a doubt, is one of the most interesting and informational classes that Mandeville High offers. It removes so much intellectual opportunity from these students, not to mention the financial benefits that it presents being an AP course. You go into college having to pay for all of these very expensive courses when you can get the same education in a high school. The topic is taught in college. It's a profession that's recognized worldwide. It's incredibly important, and there's no way to silence the entire world. So maybe don't try and silence the high school students through a textbook. The course is necessary. It's my favorite part of the day. It really is. Mr. Bordelon is my favorite part of the day. So if you could take that into consideration, that would be greatly appreciated.
Good evening, Board President Green, board members, administration. As a teacher, I earned gifted certification, and with that, master's in curriculum instruction. As a union person, this isn't my lane. This is the board selecting curriculum. You listen and put all that. I'm looking at it from a negotiator standpoint. This whole Tier 1 thing is just a scam. If they're only offering one thing, there's no competition. And if we could get back to that era of paying teachers well to write curriculum, and we just need a textbook as a resource, maybe not get all the ancillary stuff. Play them against each other, because otherwise, if you're just saying, okay, thanks, vendor, and signing a check, that's government waste. We've got to figure out ways to save every nickel. This is a massive market. This is a huge district. So just moving forward, not tonight, I'm just saying moving forward, let's figure out ways to negotiate, play these people against each other, and get the best quality book. And don't limit yourself to Louisiana. Reach out. Reach out. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? See none, I'll move to the board. Any comments from the board? Mr. Bro?
Thank you. Last week, I asked Mr. Bordelon to gather information. I'm sorry. Close enough, Lewis? To gather information on how many licenses we're using simultaneously, with the hopes that we can limit the number of digital licenses, or at least negotiate that with them. If only half the students are using them at one time, we could get away possibly with half the licenses. In addition to that, it was mentioned that going to the block system, we could probably cut these numbers in half, because instead of 2,702, you cut that in half because you have one semester followed by a second semester. And so the reason I took them off the consent agenda is I need more information. I don't think these numbers are right. I think they're inflated based on those two criteria. In addition, I don't really understand all the numbers here. At the top of these spreadsheets that you just handed out, it has printed textbook access, for example, world geography. It says 149, and then workbook 19, and then digital access 0. So 149 for the textbook. Could you explain those numbers for me? There's no digital cost. You have to buy the textbook and...
It depends. Some, there is no digital component, or it's included. It's one of the two. So
So they don't sell it just digital?
So you'll notice on that spreadsheet, there's the print, the textbook, there's a column for that with 3 prices. And then toward the right side of your spreadsheet, you'll notice it says digital only. That is if you were only to buy the digital. So all the way at the bottom, it doesn't have a shipping cost. It just has that processing fee, because there's one vendor that charges a significant amount for processing. And then since between this meeting and last meeting, because Ms. Rowe, you know, what we always do, you're exactly right. We don't need to buy things that our schools don't need.
We have cases and cases of textbooks that are never opened.
So that number, the print is the high end, is the absolute high end, which still is under what we budgeted for, luckily. The digital only would be the low end. So we would more than likely fall in the middle. So this past week, and I'll let Mrs. Fuller, she can explain a little bit, we reached out based on y'all's concerns and just asked the teachers, hey, what would you want? Would you want a class set? Do you want digital only? What would it be? And so the column that was added to that spreadsheet, which is why we passed it out all the way to the right.
I see that.
Is an updated almost combo, which is what we do. That's how we always purchase.
And did everybody reply?
I did not get 100% of the replies, but I got 84%.
And then
I
you
emailed the
interpolated-
teachers directly.
So you interpolated from the 84% on. Was there an option for, and I don't even know if they offer this, but teacher's edition only, or teacher's resource only? Because I've talked to some people, and they said, you know, we don't even use a textbook, we don't use even a classroom version, but I need the teacher's edition to prepare my students for what they're going to be tested on. This particular was with CTE. That the certification needs a certain certain curriculum, and unless the teacher has access to that curriculum, he may be teaching something that's not going to be advantageous when they go for credentials examination. So was that an option, just teacher's edition only?
The line we have to really walk a fine line is when students don't have access to the curriculum or content. If they struggle and a parent wants to help their child, there's nothing there for them. So that's the part with buying a teacher edition only. Then if a child wants to study at home, is it going to be dependent on the teacher making copies, and you run into copyright, issues? So that's a really tricky situation to navigate.
So I gave them 6 options. textbook for every student with no digital access. Option 2, textbook for every student with digital access. Option 3, class set of textbook, no digital access. Option 4, class set of textbook with digital access. Option 5, digital access only. Option 6, I do not want a textbook or digital access for the course that I teach. I had 2 teachers reply to that. The majority, 42 of the teachers, out of the ones that were sent the form, was a class set of textbooks with digital access.
Yeah. The problem with asking people that is there's no detriment. I want everything all the time. You know, if somebody says, do you want a Ferrari or do you want, you know, not a Ferrari? I'd say I want the Ferrari. So there's no downside. So the easiest response is yes, give me this, you know, and you know, what does it cost? It doesn't cost the teacher anything. And so that's a downside. That's just human nature. I'm just saying that you're going to get far more. That's why we have boxes of textbooks sitting in storage, is because, you know, you ask for everything. And that's just my opinion on that. But thank you for giving me more numbers. I still would like the information on the licenses and how many we use simultaneously. And I hope the teachers would really consider how much this is costing. I don't know if they had a cost figure associated with it.
I actually included the board presentation that we presented last week and the link for the YouTube video for them to watch it as well.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Fauntleroy?
Thank you, Mr. Green. First off, I want to say thank you to the students that spoke. I appreciate it, and I love to see students come and speak and share their thoughts, just like Mr. Jabby's advisory panel. We really need to hear from you guys. Mr. Bordelon, you are clearly an amazing teacher, and thank you for everything you do. I'm a little bit confused in that several times it was mentioned that we were thinking of doing away with AP. I never understood that to be a consideration, but maybe I missed something.
Last week, what was discussed was that we would have a companion guide
Right.
to go along with our AP psychology as well as psychology.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, and if you didn't hear her, she mentioned the companion guide, which I do support. I think our parents are still our parents. And when you're talking about controversial subjects, they have the right to be the parent and be informed. They're our taxpayers, and they have that right. And just like we do when we do 7th grade sex ed, we just do a little extra, send home a note to make the parents aware we're going to cover that. Then they can be the parent and make a decision if they want more information. I think that's fair for us to do that for our parents in this. Just there's a controversial subject being covered. We want you to be aware in case you want to talk about that with your child. I think that's a right the parent has. I in no way support removing the course because it is benefiting our kids going forward in college. I do have one question. I don't know if it's Dr. Langlois or Ms. Prevost. Someone asked me this, and I think I do have a clear understanding of how the budget works, but they asked me, and I want it on public record for their answer. If we've budgeted, I'm just going to throw numbers. If we've budgeted $1 million for something, and we only end up spending $500,000, what then, how do you guys handle the remaining $500,000?
You want me to answer this? Okay. First of all, the process for the budget the last 2 years has been extremely extensive for curriculum. They spent a lot of time doing a color-coded worksheet, coming up with the numbers they were going to give me for the budget. They did an amazing job in '24 because they were one of the only departments that came under budget across the board. Textbooks last year were $4 million less. So that helped us. That money left over does not give them carte blanche to go spend it. They only spend on what they developed. Now, you're going to have things that may come up, a budget transfer. It's usually not significant lines. Like if you need money from another line that relates to textbooks, they could do, or you can have Unforeseen things happen, like books damaged or, things that's going to be in there, but again, not a significant dollar. They've been well under budget, and right now, they've spent only $1 million of an $8 million budget. Now they're about to buy textbooks for this year, but I totally anticipate they're going to be under budget again. But we monitor all budgets. I start particularly this time of year looking for people that haven't spent their budget, and I watch it. And we have multiple approvers on every expenditure, and the administrators that are approving those expenditures watch. So people that are just spending their money because they haven't spent it, that doesn't happen here. It may have happened many, many years ago, but it doesn't happen now. So they will, if the money's left over, it's going to help us with our overall deficit, which I hope that's the case, as well as any other line that comes up less than the budget. That's a good thing. So we always want actual to be less. So that at the end helps us with that final deficit or surplus.
And
Okay,
both of
thank
these
you.
numbers
Oh,
sorry, I just want to add,
go ahead.
both of these numbers on the high end are under what we budgeted and projected. We just wanted to make sure, we were covered. We didn't want to be on the opposite end.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes. And you may have said this, but I just want to clarify this. On the courses from U.S. history, world history, business law, psychology, street law, world geography, and world history all have a 0 for their digital access, right? But in the digital total column, there are numbers there.
So that's if you were just to do the digital. So you can see that digital is included with the purchase of a hardcover textbook. And sometimes there's not a huge difference.
Okay.
I think it was the world,
The world geography? Okay, world
It's a
history?
couple dollar difference, and you still get digital access with the textbook. So that's how they kind of get you. Even if you don't get a textbook, it's still a higher charge for the digital sometimes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So the digital is the value of the material, and the print is the value of the printing press. Does that make sense? Kind of? Ms. Hanson?
Thank you. I do want to reiterate what Ms. Fauntleroy said, that, first of all, thank you to all the students who came. You were so eloquent. I don't know how they pick a student of the year when we have so many wonderful students to select from. But we do have, and the teachers, but we do have to listen to the voices of our constituents, because we have to listen to not only what the students are saying, the teachers are saying, admin's saying, but also what the community is telling us in general. And then we make decisions that we feel are in the best interest of all of our students. And, as I said last week, AP is extremely important to our students. You get the opportunity, and if you don't have the appropriate resources, the necessary resources, it's going to make it more difficult to get that 3 or higher on the AP test. So I am all for getting the appropriate materials that you will need. Now, it seems to be the question of, okay, do we get the textbook alone? Do we get the textbook in the digital? Do we get the digital alone? Well, when you look at the cost differences, you may not have it in front of you, but in front of us, we have like the printed alone, if I'm reading it correctly, is $1,015,000 plus, whatever. So that comes to, when you look at the number of students, the estimated student count in the AP classes, as well as business law, psychology, street law, world geography, and world history, which students have to have 4 social studies in order to graduate, and one of those can be psychology to replace it. So, they need not only the AP, but the on-level courses as well. We have, according to the estimated student count, 6,240. So when you look at the cost differences, text only, it comes out to $162.67 approximately, when you average it all. I mean, I know some courses are more expensive than others, but when you average it per student, it's $162.67 if we just get the textbook. If we just get digital, it's $123.09. So yeah, that saves approximately $40 per student. However, we have to recognize when our students are going off to college, everything's not going to be on a device. They're going to have to read printed material know how to annotate printed material. And for many students, that printed material is the best way for them to see it. The young man with the eye issue, sometimes the printed material works better for them. And I don't think we'd be doing a service to our students if we didn't offer them the opportunity to have the printed material. I, for one, prefer printed materials. I know I'm old, but I think there's young people that would too. And then when you look at both the digital, which gives you access to a lot of those resources, as well as the text, it's $154.64 per student. If a teacher isn't using the resources that requested, quite honestly, I look at that as a personnel issue, an administrative issue. If I, as a principal, walk into a classroom and the teacher is not using the resources that are necessary for these students, then that needs, and that's my opinion, you need to be using the resources, okay? Because this is what is necessary for our students to do well in these courses. I just feel like I have to support that we give both to these students so they can have access digitally to which a lot more than what can happen in a printed material, as well as the printed material. So thank you again, students. I was for it before, but you even, were very eloquent in the way in which you promoted it and supported it. So thank you.
Ms. Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys coming out and the students and the gentleman with your story. That's amazing about how that you should write an article, submit that something, because that is amazing. And that just is proof, that I think psychology is awesome. I wish they offered that, in high school, because that's, something when I went, I think it's amazing. And no, I don't want you guys to lose it. So I'm not sure where that came from. Now, when I first had the school board meeting, I did mention, to, get rid of it. But we came to a compromise. So I'm not sure where all this is coming from. And as far as the whole, bringing up that somebody thinks that all these teachers are doing this indoctrination and blah, blah, blah. I don't know where that's coming from either. And I've also been very clear, and my thoughts are very clear on my school board page as to why I voted no. I've been extremely transparent with everything. My main reason why I voted no last week, and I'm going to be transparent now, is because I mentioned, and this might not be the best consensus, but I've got comments, is because I think who better to know their students and maybe curriculum is the teachers and our curriculum specialists. And maybe, teachers like yourself could help in writing the curriculum and the assets and the materials, the assessments, and the materials for our students. Y'all know what your students need to pass these tests, which I think in itself, and I've argued with Bessie a million times, we are tested to death. And the standards are ridiculous. And another thing is we don't know what's coming down the pipe with the changes with the federal department. Frank mentioned just last week that we don't know what funds we could be getting, where those funds might be going, and things might be changing. Who knows? If we go and buy this curriculum, what if in the next year things might change and this curriculum might be useless? So that money might be for nothing, and this curriculum might be for nothing. So that's really my main reason for voting no. We came to the compromise, last week, and I'm all for that, and I think that's great. And because I think if we're going to teach something, let's teach let's teach all of it. Because, I mean, yeah, it's out there. It's on TikTok. It's blah, 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 blah. It's, you know, I mean, it is. Psychology is an awesome subject, and I want the students to get all their credits. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not, you know, one of these, I'm open-minded, guys. I'm open-minded. Okay, I hear everything. So, and again, I'm being transparent about everything. I mean, if y'all got something, just tell me. And I say it. Maybe I don't say it nicely or the right way, because y'all know my delivery isn't the best. But I try, y'all. I try. I try to do what's best for the students, what's best for the teachers, and what's best for the community. Am I right all the time? No. But sometimes knock me upside the head. I might get it right. Tammy tries too. Michelle, when she says, she tries too. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Before I move to Ms. Lamy, I would just, a point of clarification, because last week in the committee meeting, we did approve the recommendation with a companion guide. So I asked Ms. Coakley to include the companion guide so we can clear that up in the agenda. So that was approved, so that's now part of the agenda. So I'll move to Ms. Lamy.
I'll be super quick. One was a response to Mr. Bro. I understand your analogy, but what Ms. Fuller was explaining was they didn't choose the Ferrari because she gave them the option to have a textbook per student and the digital, but that was option number 3. And then number 5 was get a class set of textbooks in digital. They chose the class set, which means they would reuse it the following semester. If they taught 2 sections in that day, they would still have 1 class set, maybe a couple of extras in case somebody needed to borrow one to go home to study. But they didn't choose the max because the teachers don't want 60 books in their room, or they don't want, so I just want to clarify that because that wasn't choosing the max option, the most money. The next thing I was going to say very quickly, I agree with you in that, you know, we have a curriculum for teachers to teach what they need to teach for the test and make sure the students are getting all of the standards met. But I bet Mr. Bordelon, after 11 years of teaching psychology, doesn't use the textbook verbatim because it wouldn't be the highlight of those students' day if he did. It wouldn't be exciting and, you know, be the amazing teacher that he is that has all these kids sitting here. Of course he refers to the book because it's a tool and he uses that to make sure he's covering what he needs to. But I would venture to say he makes his lessons his own and he does his thing. Is that a correct thing? I mean, not just like turn to page 6 today, tomorrow's page 7, right? Okay, so it is a resource and so I just have to say that because I was one of those teachers that had the textbook stacked and we pulled them when we needed them and put them back when we didn't. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lamy. Mr. Bro, if you would, I'd like to. Ms. McCollum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick comment about this. You know, we are in a day where we are trying to limit the amount of work that our teachers have to do on a daily basis. So to say, we want you to teach whatever and not give you any kind of resource to use is unspeakable, in my opinion. They have got to have something. They can't just walk into the classroom with nothing, no textbook, nothing. And I know we're not talking about that, but, you know, and sometimes when a brand new text is adopted, they don't really know completely what's in that textbook yet until they delve into it and start planning their lessons and their units. And, you know, I do feel that the teachers, and we should trust them in deciding, do they need just a class set? Do they need a textbook for every child? Do they need a digital copy for every child? And personally, I think we need to provide it for them.
Dr. Peterson?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point of clarification just for everyone. based on our last meeting that we had, the committee as a whole. And that was that there was concern about the content of text and what was relative to what could happen, changes that could occur in the future, near future with textbooks. And we always, and we're going to spend the amount of money that we're going to spend, we wanted to have the latest version with the most correct information in it possible. Even, and if some information would be altered or disappearing in the future, we wanted to be sure that we had the latest. So that was important. But this was not an isolated topic, because across the country, I just wanted to throw this out to you, textbooks in other states have even, like the Cambridge International Psychology course, that textbook has been widely pushed across the country. People are looking at that. It comes without certain content, which we didn't really value. From the example that we had earlier, it wasn't something we spent a lot of time on. But it totally did not have that information, from what I understand. You also had the International Baccalaureate version of the psychology book, AP psychology book, which was also used. If you were a baccalaureate program, you could use that material, which is used worldwide in 166 different countries. And that text material did not have that content either, from my understanding. So there were things that were available, and they were topics to discuss. Beyond that, we did determine at this board meeting, the last time we met, that there would be a companion guide that would be used that would address that topic, so that teachers would be validated in whatever they did, in the approach that we offer them, and no one would be left on a limb. And so we want to protect our teachers as they teach. We want to make sure the material is accurate, up to date, and correct for our students. And that's where we are as a board, and that's where we are from last week to this week. And so that's where we are right now. And I just wanted to put that out there. So thank you.
Mr. Kuzan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have just a couple of things to say. As an old board member, I have always voted in the best interest of the student. We just don't spend money to spend money. Our staff work as hard as they can to give us the information that we need before we make a decision. We go home and study what they tell us. Then we come back with a decision. As far as advanced placement is concerned, and I like to make this statement, I think, if I'm not mistaken, parents sign off on the student schedule card, don't they? So the parents know exactly what the students are going to be taking. They understand. They know what's on that schedule. So I just don't want us to think that we just arbitrarily spend money on anything that's out there. We're working in the best interest of the students. And sometimes as board members, we might miss a point of something or not, but we always work in the best interest of the student of St. Tammany Parish Schools. Thank you very much.
Ms. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Am I to assume that, because our little voting box has come up, and it doesn't mention to purchase at this amount or anything like that, so am I to assume that it's the amount that is the teacher request amount?
So in years past, I looked at textbook presentations. Prices were not actually included in that. That is something that we started to do, so y'all were aware, because we got our budget approved, and textbook was in that in the adoption during the board retreat. It was presented as well. That was approved back in August. So that is a courtesy as well, because you're voting on something that has such a high price value. So there isn't going to be a price in there. You are voting to accept the recommendations that our teachers have voted on. And just to put something into perspective, Ms. Hanson, you had mentioned that, like, on average, let's say for the social studies, we had 6,240 students. The average would be about $154.64. But then you divide that by 6. You're spending $25.77 per student a year on that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller. I guess that was my fault for not clarifying. I would like to know if we're voting for the printed, like, everybody gets a printed copy, everybody that's, so.
It's going to be the combination.
Right. Okay, perfect. So it's based off of when you asked the teachers what they wanted, and that's perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Bro?
Oh.
I thought Ms. Rutherford had spoken once before.
Thank you. So for our estimated student count, that's based on an annual?
That's based on kids, students in the course currently now with a little bit of a percentage added to it.
Okay, so these are all high school courses, and the numbers you have are based on,
They're not all high school. Well, actually, for social studies, it is, sorry.
so,
But not
so
CT.
the numbers you're talking about are based on the annual enrollment of those students in high school, but we are going block schedule next year.
Correct. So remember, this was to give you worst case scenario. We wanted to give you a picture of how many students would need a book, a digital access, whatnot. But you're exactly right. So let's say, to Ms. Lamey's point, we're on block schedule, I'm a teacher, I'm Mr. Bordelon. Right now, he may have, on a 7-period day, 5 courses. But moving to block schedule, he'll have 3 in the fall, 3 in the spring. So if he were to choose a class set, 1 class set's all I need. I'm not ordering, it really makes never mind if I'm on 5 classes, 3 classes in the fall. A class set's a class set, because it's one in my
If it's a class set, but if it's
I
based on student count,
Correct.
it should be half.
And then it should, however, we would let the schools give us an idea when they do their scheduling, what's the high end of how many kids will be scheduling in one semester. So is it gonna be 50-50? So I'll use an example, 34 in AP Comparative Government. That could be 17 and 17, but if it's looking like the school said, you know what, we might have more like 20 and 14, can we order 20 just to make sure we're covered? That's what we will work with the schools. We always make sure that the schools give us input on what they need without going over and beyond and just ordering 34 because that's easy.
Since it makes such a substantial difference to the cost, could we get those numbers?
Yes, they're in the process of scheduling right now. They have not inputted all of their numbers to run the schedule for next year. So that's we're in the process of that.
But I'm assuming it's going to drastically reduce these numbers.
Absolutely, we will, absolutely. This is the highest end that we would spend. It will absolutely, more than likely, be less than this, but no matter what, we are not going over budget.
And that's why you're not voting on the actual amount that you're spending.
Just
But I
permission to
can
buy
assure you that it'll be way under now.
So you're not going to go out and buy $964,000 worth of materials
That, I cannot imagine.
based on this? All right, thank you.
We're gonna purchase what our schools need to educate kids.
Back to Dr. Peterson. Mr. Brower, were you finished, sir? Okay, Dr. Peterson.
Dr. Langlois, I would just like to ask you a question. How different or how far apart are we with the purchase of the textbooks that we have and those that are offered in an international baccalaureate program?
When you mean how far off, like how different
In other
is
words,
the
how
content?
different are the texts? I mean, or not so much, are they different? Or are they just totally?
I read an article similar to you that was referring to those 2 books. I have not actually seen a copy. I don't want to speak to something, but I
Yeah.
can definitely look into and try to get my hands on a copy and look, but.
I understand. Okay. I was just hoping that at some point in our progress, in our drive to the future, that we look at International Baccalaureate Program as an additional aspect for St. Tammany Parish. We have the students here that are capable of taking that rocket ship and just moving ahead internationally. And I just wish, if we can get to that point, we can offer our students that. But anyway.
Completely understand. I will say this, because our district currently, and I hear you, we will definitely look into IB programs. We looked at the AP, the AP produces a list of books that are aligned to their test. And all the books that we reviewed were on that list. And the one obviously we recommended is on that. So if that gives you any peace of
Well,
mind.
close.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, really.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to you talking about that in the future.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Near future.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the recommendation for the high school social studies and instructional material as presented with a companion guide, so please vote. And that motion carries 12 yeas, 2 nays. The next item is the recommendation of the purchase of the CTE instructional materials. Can I get a motion? Mr. Harrell, do I have a second? Ms. McCullum, thank you. Any public comment? Yeah. See some gentlemen walking down here. If you would, just please say your name, where you're from. If you're a teacher, maybe where you teach.
My name's Hunter King. I'm an ag teacher at Covington High School. I can also say that there is not any transgender ideology being taught to the cows in our textbook. I'm just here to speak just briefly on the adoption of our potential new textbook that we're looking for agriculture. We have a state industry-based credential that we're required to test our students in Ag 3-4. It's a 3-year prep that they prepare for, and we offer that credential, statewide basic credential for our students. The previous textbook that we had was adopted before that credential was put in place by the state. So we did not have a current textbook or curriculum that followed that directly. So we have now found a book. I think we actually have some teachers that are here that have had some great success. When they went and found this one particular book, he found one, just a student book, and he's been using that. And I think he saw like a 60% increase in passage rate for his students. So what we're just hoping and asking, what I ask you as the board to consider that for us, just to give us that one resource that we need to ensure that we are able to give the students that exact curriculum and follow that. You know, with anything in ag, there's all kind of different numbers for different items that we deal with. And so it's important that the test, the questions that are on the test that our kids are required to take and they have to pass, that we get the same material to supplement them in their learning, so we're not I'm not giving them some information that's maybe even modern, but the test was written, 5 years ago, and they're using an older thing. So I don't want our kids to get even, which is unfortunate. They should be able to get the right information current, but that test isn't always current. So anyway, just help us to get that and pass that curriculum so we can get the right test, the right material for these students. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Billy Mayfield. I teach at Pearl River High. I've been teaching for edging up on 30 years now, and the book that we adopted, I've used older versions of that book in other parts of the state, and it is an excellent textbook, and it is an excellent reference for the kids. Whenever they need something, they can always go to that book and find what they're looking for. It is one of many tools that we use in the agri-science classrooms to get the information. It's all about student success, and it's all about the needs of the teacher, and it's an excellent resource for us to use with our students. So we're hoping that you'll pass this one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayfield. Any other comments from the public? See none. I see Ms. McCullum queued up first.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just say in the career technical courses, I've spoken with principal in my high school principal in my district and with teachers in my district and teachers in other districts. And, I just can't
one particular one said that she's teaching principles of business. The book that she's been using was 2008. I can't imagine that things in business have not changed since 2008 and that we need something more current. I can't imagine an auto tech class teaching, having a book that they, I don't know how old their books are at this point in time, but I know that the auto technology has completely changed in the last 5 years, much less the last 10 years, depending upon them. And I can't see any course listed here that hasn't changed drastically since probably we last adopted a book for them and their resources. So everyone that has contacted me and everyone I've talked to are asking us for these resources, and I will definitely support them having them.
Ms. Hanson?
Thank you. I want to thank Dr. Langlois also for and Ms. Fuller for all the information regarding the number of teachers that participated in the review. I think that's helpful to see that it's not just like, I've responded to several emails I've gotten, and as I've told every one of them, we make decisions based on the information that we're provided. I don't have a CTE background. So therefore, I like to hear from the experts in CTE, those knowledgeable. What do you think about it? So thank you for the additional information you provided us as to how many teachers were, involved and how many schools were involved in voting for these textbooks. I agree with Ms. McCullum. We need something updated. We need a resource for them. Again, something that they can solid in their hand and read and in order to help them be successful. So I will be supporting this as well.
Thank you. Mr. Bro?
Yes, I want to make it clear I'm not opposed to getting new textbooks and the resources that our teachers need. My concern is that, and I appreciate that you gave us the additional information on the teacher's response. My concern is that we may be off by 40 to 50% on the cost, and I'd just like to get a little closer to that before I can vote yes for this. Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the recommendation for the purchase of CTE instruction materials as presented. Please vote. That motion carries 13 yeas, 1 nay. Next item on the agenda is the appropriate retirement resolutions for the following certificated personnel subsequent to February 13, 2025. Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you, President Green, Superintendent Jabby, and Board. Appropriate retirement resolution of the following certificated personnel subsequent to the February 13, 2025 meeting. Callie B. Foreman, Educational Center, 20.15 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Ms. Lamy, do I have a second? Mr. Harrell? Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Please vote.
Ms. Lamy, Ms. McCollum.
That motion carries unanimously. Next item is the appropriate retirement resolutions for the following employee support services personnel subsequent to February 13, 2025. Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you again, President Green, Superintendent Jabby, and Board. Appropriate retirement resolution of the following employee support services personnel subsequent to the February 13, 2025 meeting. Deidre R. 7, Clearwood Junior High, 21.19 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Geraldine B. Fernandez, Covington Elementary, 28.04 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Monica M. Silva, Covington High, 11.99 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Michelle Lewis, Lakeshore High, 20 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Cynthia D. Baham, Lyon Elementary, 36.07 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. And Lisa S. Ford, Transportation Center, 2.64 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion? Ms. Rutherford, do I have a second? Ms. Baker, thank you. Public comment? See none. Any from the board? Mr. Bro?
I know you were waiting for me to ask last time. I wasn't quick enough.
You'll never stump me again.
How is the trends? How are we doing in total this year compared to last year?
Well, I don't have, well, you're not stumping me. I'm going to tell you, for this retirement, for this cycle, and for certificated, last year we had 179.43 more years of retirement for people that retired. Now, on a support side, we had 40.58 years more on the support side this year, but a net gain of 138.85.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, please vote. And that motion carries unanimously. Next item on our agenda is 3-minute comments. I see one of the students from Mandeville has left. Mr. Bordelon, do you want to speak, sir? Okay. Stephanie Underwood.
State my name. Stephanie Underwood, Executive Vice President of the Federation. So we had a union membership meeting last night, and man, I thought I was at a board meeting. It lasted so long. No, we had good, rich conversation. One of the main topics we talked about was this bond that the district wants, and we asked, what do you need in order to support this? So the membership came up with a resolution, and I'm going to read the resolves. Therefore, be it resolved that no later than March 27, 2025, the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers and School Employees respectfully requests the St. Tammany Parish School Board to take the following actions. 1, pass a resolution directing the superintendent to negotiate in good faith with the Federation to extend the current 2024-2026 collective bargaining agreement by 2 years and authorize a memorandum of understanding to finalize this extension. And pass a resolution immediately suspending the development and implementation of any employee handbook intended to replace the CBA. And pass a resolution directing the superintendent to prioritize the completion of all school-based projects identified in the May 3rd, 2025 St. Tammany Parish School Board bond issue, starting with replacing portable classrooms, which includes modular classrooms, before initiating any work on the proposed Discovery Center, and publish no later than March 28, 2025, a complete organizational chart for management and administration, including job titles, the percentage of the payroll budget allocated, and the total cost of salaries, benefits, and perks, and pass a resolution guaranteeing that no teacher and school employee pay raises will not be negatively impacted by the outcome of the bond vote or any financial restructuring, including but not limited to transfers to special funds such as the parish-wide construction fund. Be it further resolved that the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers and School Employees formally requests the St. Tammany Parish School Board to commit to transparency, fiscal responsibility, and respect for the collective bargaining process, ensuring that all negotiations, policies, and budgetary decisions are made in the best interest of students, teachers, school employees, and the community at large. Adopted on this 19th day of March, 2025 by the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers and School Employees. So those are our employees' requests, and I look forward to hearing more. Thanks.
Mr. Osborne.
Thank you, Board President Bro. Brent Osborne, St. Tammany Federation President. I bring to you a resolution that was passed last night. This is regarding Constitutional Amendment 2. This was passed unanimously by our membership. Be it resolved that the membership of the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers and School Employees directs our local union, number 3952, to actively campaign against Constitutional Amendment number 2 that is on the ballot for the March 29th election. And let me give that a second to get to Baton Rouge and also Poydras Street in New Orleans. The LFT, the Louisiana Federation of Teachers, is for this. And the great thing about the American Federation of Teachers union is it is a local control model. So nobody gives me marching orders except our members behind us and our executive council. Council members, if you could stand, just briefly identify yourselves. This is Miss Latasha Brownlee, Stephanie Underwood, Barbara Sharp, Babette Allen, Sherelle Griffin. Thank you. And so their model is different. They're statewide, global. We have very specific concerns, and our folks are very well educated. And at first I was for this until people got in my ear and explained it to me. So the bottom line to me is this. It's about promises made 2 years ago in the legislature and not kept. They played games in the final hour of the legislative session, and they turned raises into stipends. Then last year, same thing, stipends. Now they're offering this poison pill called a raise. Well, we're going to RFK that and slap that poison pill right back at them. Go back to the table, go back to the budget and find the money. We rose 17 spots to 32 in the nation. That's unheard of. We're always in the bottom. And that's what you're going to do? No. We need real raises funded in a traditional way because our teachers and school employees are worth it. And I'll say this. This Pelican Policy Group, you've heard me say it a million times, and this Americans for Prosperity. While Frank Jabby and I were negotiating, these teams were negotiating, working really hard. I had to go to Baton Rouge and fight because they were trying to destroy local control and ban public sector collective bargaining. Well, guess what? In St. Tammany, there are consequences for that. When you poke the bear in St. Tammany, the bear pokes back. So I am going to be aggressive. We're going to defeat this. Good luck, folks. Governor Landry, I respect many of the decisions you made. Troop NOLA, great. But don't pose with kids with that number 32 rank you just got here, sir, respectfully. Let me say this. Let me end with this. I appreciate Michelle Hurstis for standing up to Bessie. We've always talked about a posse going up there and confronting them. Well, they came to us, and you were the only one to speak out and really tell them what you felt. We can't be polite, folks. They're destroying public education. Anyone willing, can you please stand and show appreciation for Michelle Hurstis? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Lee Hicks.
I'm the band director at Fontainebleau High School. I'm also the president of the Louisiana Music Educators Association. And I appreciate your kind words about our jazz program. We love playing for you guys. Anytime you want to have us come over, we're here. Our kids are special in this parish, as you well know. I love my job, I love my students, and I love St. Tammany Parish Public Schools. I'm here tonight to publicly voice my concern for the future of music education in our great parish. The uproar of concern over the strings program only scratched the surface of concerns many of us educators have. Since COVID, we've seen a drastic drop in band and choir enrollment. Many of our music educators are concerned that we are not seeing consistent support for middle school and junior high programs parish-wide to help us rebound from those setbacks. There's plenty of information supporting the positive impact that arts have on student achievement, and I'm not going to get into that tonight because you can go look that up, and most of you already know that. The current inconsistencies on how to schedule band and choir rehearsals in middle schools sets up many of our students to fail. Trying to teach a student a new language, which is music, and how to play an instrument in only once a week in 30 minutes is next to impossible. It sets them up to be in a position to fail. They then get frustrated and quit while developing negative feelings towards music. In some of our schools, students are told that choir is only for 4th grade students, and 5th and 6th graders are not allowed to join the choir. Well, it's no wonder then that those high school and junior high programs have dwindling numbers and almost no students in their programs. I truly believe that there are many supporters of music education in this building. I know it for a fact. Until this year, Frank Jabby is the only principal I've ever known to walk in parades with his high school's marching band. This year, Mr. Corley walked with Fontainebleau High School's band. And I know that there are many of our leaders in this room here right now committed to music education as well on this board and sitting in these chairs right in front of me. However, there is true concern and a perception that some of our supervisors may be listening to our words, but they're not hearing what we're saying. When this is the case, nothing gets done and educators feel abandoned and that their input really doesn't matter. Our music educators want nothing more than to build strong programs that represent their schools and St. Tammany Parish in the most positive ways possible. It's always my goal. My goal is to achieve what the GOAT, who I consider the GOAT, is Miss Gail Sloan, who told me when I was a young teacher, we got to go from good to being great. That's been my motto for Fontainebleau High School's band ever since. With the quality of clientele and amount of parental support we have here in St. Tammany Parish, we should be leading Louisiana in arts education. And unfortunately, at this time, we are not. I see what's going on around the state as the president of the Louisiana Music Education Association, and I would love for us to be number one, but I don't feel that we are at this time. My colleagues and I are fully committed to helping our schools take our arts programs to the highest levels possible. Our only hope is that you are as well. It's Music in Our Schools Month, so I wanted to bring this to your attention now. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Eleanor Stagno.
Good evening. My name is Eleanor Stagno. I am here in support of the Strings program. I am a sixth grade student at Lake Harbor Middle School. I've been Miss Miranda's student since first grade at Marigny Elementary. I have also been a member of my school's band since the 5th grade, and I was recently chosen to represent Lake Harbor for our parish's honor band. In addition to these activities, I am in the Talented Arts program and the North Shore Youth Orchestra led by Miss Miranda and Mr. Justice. I wish for the Strings program to continue through high school or for some sort of orchestra program to be created for junior high and high school. Strings has been one of my favorite hobbies since I started playing. It has always brought me joy to be by my friends and playing. Strings is not just about playing, it can also be about the friendships you make. I have so many close friends that have been in the Strings program or are still in the Strings program. Strings has helped me through my music career by teaching me to read music. It has helped me go through into band a lot by having a musical knowledge. So much so that I did not find the flute challenging enough early on and inspired by Mr. Justice to play the oboe, which he also plays. When I heard that Miss Miranda was getting moved to another school, it made me feel sad that the people that I know in this program will have a new teacher. The relationships she builds with her students are a key part in our success. I urge the board to reconsider their decision of shuffling the teachers around because this will only hurt the students. Thank you for your time.
Elizabeth Hotard.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hotard, and last week when I came and I spoke, I didn't understand that the Strings program was really just the same song but another verse. Back in the 1980s, St. Tammany Parish worked hard to establish a phenomenal gifted program. The community came together, the parents came together, and they built an exemplary program that people moved to our parish to participate in during the 90s. When I was at Chinchuba Middle, all of the academic subjects were offered at a gifted level. And this is not just a gifted program, this is a gifted service that students qualify for. These are taking academically rigorous classes that are going above and beyond. They're accelerating them. And then they're giving students time to have enrichment depth-wise, breadth-wise. They're giving them teachers that are qualified, certified, and gifted, and know how to bring out the best in these students. And it gives the students an environment where they can grow in their social, emotional needs, because for a lot of gifted students, one of the biggest risks is failure. It sounds counterintuitive, but for a lot of students that qualify for gifted services, if they are not given appropriate services, they're going to underperform, and for a lot of them, they are going to fail, and they are going to exit school early, which I know our district doesn't want. So when I was in the program, it was a phenomenal program, and I asked some of my classmates, what have y'all done? Who are y'all in the community? And looking at who they have become, I have classmates who are MDs in the ER. They're working on an international scale at this point. There are pediatric immunologists and allergists, lots of teachers, and a phenomenal number of researchers who are out there developing new technologies, new medicines, new procedures that are going to help save your lives, your family's lives, engineers, and many others that are vastly important in our community. And when I asked them, did the program do anything, or was it just a little extra? Again and again, they said having that social emotional bond develop in that classroom full of peers and having an accelerated curriculum made a world of difference at the college level, at the graduate level, and in life. But looking at where the program is now, it has fallen. We've drained the potency of the program. The students aren't offered the academics that they were offered. They aren't offered the social emotional supports that they need. So I ask you to support it.
Lee Barrios?
Lee Barrios, retired teacher of gifted. A growing number of gifted teachers and parents of gifted students have called on the Federation to support their facilitation of district-wide reform for our gifted education program. They have suggested the establishment of a task force or committee that includes representatives from all schools, including parents, students, teachers, and administrators. This committee can regularly meet to assess the needs of gifted students across the district and make recommendations for improving the program's structure, resources, and scheduling. Therefore, the Federation commits to a call to action to advocate for a clear, documented, commitment from the administration to prioritize the gifted program, ensuring appropriate funding and resources for enrichment activities. This can be achieved through presenting data on the academic and social impact of the gifted program and the consequences of neglect. To develop leadership and structure to ensure that the gifted program at the district level and at every school is led by a dedicated, highly trained and experienced gifted department lead who works collaboratively with administrators, teachers, and support staff to ensure consistent, high-quality program across all grade levels. This position provides direction, ensures best practices are followed, and advocates for resources and support for both gifted students and educators. To advocate for a district-wide leadership team, which includes experienced gifted educators who provide mentorship, professional development, and advocacy, ensuring that the program remains innovative and student-centered. To ensure that gifted students have access to an enriched curriculum that challenges them and nurtures their intellectual curiosity. A program that offers a mix of advanced coursework, hands-on projects, creative problem-solving activities, and cross-disciplinary learning opportunities. To provide a clear and equitable scheduling system that ensures that gifted students are placed in appropriately challenging courses at every grade level. The Federation is committed to following through with this request and asks that the school board offer support in bringing back a once shining light to St. Tammany Parish school system. Thank you.
Maria McLeod?
Hello, I am Maria McLeod. I've been teaching music since 2013. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Music Education from East Carolina University. I will speak as a professional and a child who grew up in a well-developed music system while comparing my experience here. I grew up in Eastern North Carolina, public schools. Were we perfect? No. Were we heavily involved with music? Yes. I believe part of that was because the East Coast's largest Marine base was across the street. Marines lead by example. The president's own or his chosen hired band are Marines. They represent quality. That being said, striving for quality is embedded in me because of their influence. I thought moving to Louisiana, where American music was born, I would experience professional growth like no other, but not the quality I expected. Growing up, my district was STEAM, heavily emphasized on the arts. St. Tammany prioritizes state-mandated subjects, but puts arts at the bottom. Opportunities seemed endless for honor and all-state performances, which were affiliated with the National Association for Music Educators. We have a chapter here called LMEA. St. Tammany does allow collaboration between the two, but there's room for growth. Every site there had an encore team where art, music, library, and PE teachers were permanent. St. Tammany relies on itinerant teachers. Only high school music teachers are considered truly permanent. The opportunities for collaboration are limited. Music therapists traveled in that district to offer music to SWE classes. We don't even have that here. Every high school had an auditorium, not a cafetorium. May I dare say my high school was a 4x4 schedule, which I hated, but we thrived because of active and strategic support from up top. Moving here, I had high hopes. I'm still hopeful. I've made this my home, and I'm raising my daughter here. I want to make public education the best, like you, but I wish you would listen to the music professionals. A 2024 study from Harvard Medicine states, with both immediate and long-term exposure to music, a person's neurons will fire in new ways, helping to shape communication pathways over time. In 2023, the University of Chicago research found music can stimulate new connections in our brain, keeping our cognitive abilities sharp. The arts are the connection piece for our students. The arts in this district are struggling because of systematic changes and not prioritizing it. Want to raise those test scores? Quality arts. You want better comprehension? Quality arts. You want better written expression? Quality arts. You want students to have self-discipline? Quality arts. There's a reason why Miss Rachel is a millionaire teaching using music. Music grows the brain. Your brain gets a workout actively participating in music unlike any other activity. Scripted curriculum will not do that. Thank you for your time, and I hope you would build our school system's music programs with me.
Lindsay Lord.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Lindsay Lord, and I'm a gifted teacher for our district. I stand before you today not just as an educator with 15 years of service, but as someone deeply invested in the growth and well-being of our students. Throughout my career, I have embraced various teaching roles while earning a master's degree, obtaining content lead certification, being honored as a Teacher of the Year, and becoming Science of Reading certified, just to name a few. I share these accomplishments not to boast, but rather to emphasize that my guiding principle has always been that when we stop learning, we stop living. This belief drives me to continually expand my knowledge to better support our students in reaching their fullest potential. Tonight, I wish to speak from the heart about our district's Gifted program, a program that has profoundly impacted the lives of many students I've had the privilege to teach. I understand that there are concerns about the Gifted program, but I also know that everyone here wants the best for our children. I'm not here to dismiss those concerns, but rather to share my personal experiences to shed light on its significance. I'd like to share brief stories of two students whose experiences highlight the significant impact of our district's Gifted program. The first student initially dreaded to write. He did everything possible to avoid it, believing he had nothing valuable to add, which often results in minimal effort. But through our Gifted program's tailored support, he was given the space to explore topics that excited him, engage in deep discussions, and write in ways that felt meaningful to him. Today, he proudly tells me that he wants to be a published author. He has recognized that his thoughts matter, shifting his mindset from reluctance to ambition, ultimately transforming his academic journey. I have no doubt that one day the world will read his words. The second student struggled socially. He often kept to himself and had a negative outlook on learning. Through the opportunities this program provides, collaboration, creative problem solving, and safe space to grow, he has flourished. He now participates, encourages peers, and approaches learning with curiosity instead of frustration. He recently told me, "I used to think I wasn't good at anything. Now I know I just needed to find where I fit." These are just two examples, but they reflect a larger truth. When we give our students the right environment to grow, they rise to meet their potential. The Gifted program exemplifies our district's commitment to adapting and meeting the diverse needs of our students. I know that there are differing opinions about the Gifted program, and I welcome those conversations. Healthy discussions are how we continue to grow and improve, but I also believe that we must recognize the success stories, the students that have found their confidence, their passion, and their purpose, those achievements through this program. Thank you for your time and your commitment to our students.
Al Ledette.
Good evening. I'm Al Ledette, Slidell Maintenance. Hey, my time's up already.
Thank you, sir. Good shot.
You know, every so often in people's lives, you have what they call a very long day, and I've kind of had that today. So I had to think about what I wanted my 3 minutes to be, which is dangerous. But you know, I thought about trust. And the main reason why is because things that's happened in this long day have really intensified that meaning, that word. You know, a lot of people ask for trust, but what do they do to show it? A lot of people ask for trust, but the way they act or respond to things doesn't show any trust. A lot of people ask for blind trust, but they don't understand. Trust has to be earned. It's not something that's just given. If you give trust to a doctor, you give it to him because he earned it through his residency, through his diplomas, through his classes. He earned it. So that is the kind of trust that I'm talking about, the kind of trust that everybody needs to understand, that if they want people to come together like family, should come together, or like coworkers and students, faculty, staff, everybody, that trust has to be earned by everyone. Trust is earned from students because of the teachers' qualifications, because of how they teach, because of the years they spend in college to teach. Actions. We don't see a lot of actions using the words trust. And even when they say, trust me, but then none of their actions show it. When the person that I know that's made this day long for me showed me trust, not only did she earn it, she showed it. And she showed it to me in my heart. She showed it by her actions, by her willingness, by what she did for others, for me, and everybody else. And on that note, when I was hired 19 years ago, I trusted that raises would go along with it, same as teachers and everybody else. And that trust was broken. Thank you.
That concludes 3 minutes for board president announcements. We will be scheduling a special meeting for expulsion appeal hearings, more to come. The next committee as a whole meeting will be held on Thursday, April 3rd at 6 p.m. at Brooks Educational Complex in Slidell. The April 10th board meeting will be held at 6 p.m. at the Brooks Educational Complex in Slidell. And there will be a robotics presentation at that meeting at 5:30, so that should be good. With that, an executive session has been requested pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 42:17A2 to discuss matters below. Do I have a motion? Ms. Fauntleroy, do I have a second? Ms. Baker, any comments from the public?
Brian Osborne, Federation President. Thank you, Board President Bro. My folks, y'all can go except for the negotiating team. I'm just going to make a simple request. I appreciate y'all coming out. They're going to go into executive session, so you got to go.
I'm sorry.
No problem. President Green, if you would consider, or if anybody would consider, amending the motion, and I know you have some legal stuff, that last item with the collective bargaining. Historically, LC Burkhalter would come in for a portion of it, is what the union historians have told me, to just kind of discuss, answer questions. I don't want to get into but this is what I sent. There's a lot of confusion still about certain aspects of whether it's grievances or just causes or just negotiations. So my team will be willing to interact with the board and then kind of, leave so that y'all can get to that business if you're willing to do that. We had a nice session with the FMCS mediator. Solved a lot of problems with the grievance process to streamline it. Steve had ideas, Mary had ideas, our team had ideas. I want to say one particular thing. A grievance is about a remedy. A remedy is something to make somebody whole. So one thing I agreed with Steve, the Federation should not recommend that a supervisor be disciplined, for instance, because that's the purview of the superintendent. And if the goal is to make the person whole, punishing somebody else, that's vindictive. That's not what that is designed to do. So that one piece helps. We've also talked about Mr. Lawson, and unfortunately we found out they kind of shut FMCS down, so hopefully they can bring it back. All grievances start verbal, okay? Sometimes I would go to a grievance because it says in there that the person's protected from reprisals, and a lot of people are fearful. But we're going to revise the process so that informally, if it's reported, we're giving Superintendent Jabby and his team a chance to respond, but they'll still be protected from reprisals. So that's the goal, is to get the problem solved. But look, these grievances have been really valuable. We're going to work on a policy on the First Amendment, providing guardrails for public servants.
Mr. Bro, you go ahead and finish up when you can.
Sure thing. But if anybody could make that motion.
Yeah. Sorry.
If anybody could amend, we'd appreciate, but if not, y'all have a good evening. Thanks.
Yeah. Comments from the board on going into executive session? Ms. Hanson?
The meeting wasn't adjourned though, was it? So no one had to leave, right?
I mean, we're going to, the meeting doesn't adjourn technically until executive session is over, but we.
And until you call that. Okay, I just wanted to, I just thought that maybe it gave the impression that we were having people leave before the meeting was over, before we even went into executive session. And I just wanted to clarify that. We did not, the meeting did not, we did not officially go into executive session. Our president didn't officially put us into executive session. Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Any more board comments? Please vote on to go into discussion. All those say yay. Aye. All those opposed, nay. So now we are in executive session. So we'll take a 5-minute recess, use the bathroom, whatever, and come back. Yeah.